Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Enjoy the ride, Texas.com. We are here with our friend Michael Pijanowski. Thank you for joining us once again. You are, well, a consultant, a coach, so much more. You deal with people in so many different aspects as far as relationships are concerned. You are a relationship coach and so much more. Welcome back, Michael. How are you?
Thank you, Jill. It's great to be back.
Well, thanks. Would you mind introducing yourself to those who may not know you yet?
Sure. My name is Michael Pijanowski. I operate Enjoy the Ride Consulting in Addison, Texas. We help awesome people find new ways to interact with their world. We help couples who are in conflict. We help people who are looking to find a partner that resonates with them. I work with people to help resolve their anxiety, their depression, forming new habits, breaking old habits, and also meeting with people in group sessions to help successful people become even more effective.
Beautiful. So you have a knack for helping others. Clearly, that's what you do by nature. I could tell just by talking to you. You're a good read. There's a lot going on in the world today. And as a coach, I'm sure you can give us plenty of advice. And there is a lot of unrest. It's a little unruly. It's been a hard year and a half and so forth. So, could you talk a little bit about maybe some coping mechanisms and tell us how you can help others cope with all this unrest in the world, Michael?
Okay, so, as with all the unrest in the world, part of the problem that causes us a lot of stress is that we have a lot of judgments about what's going on. In a lot of cases, we really don't maybe see the big picture. We don't have an understanding of what the big picture is. Now, I could understand if you were like an atheist and you thought you were just here on this earth and everything was up for grabs, and I could understand how that would create a lot of stress. However, I tend to believe that things are happening for a reason. They happen in our lives for a reason. They happen in other people's lives for a reason. They happen in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what I see when I see situations that cause a lot of unrest, I see opportunity for people to start asking questions and to really get beyond themselves. And so part of that is judgments. We judge what's happening as wrong, but we don't necessarily know that it's wrong. We have this judgment that it shouldn't be happening that way. And this can happen on a personal level as well as a global level. I mean, we feel like, well, this should not be happening. But if you really look at just throughout history, how things have unfolded and how a lot of good things have come out of things that really were bad. Sure, they were bad. They felt bad, but there was a bigger plan. And so if we can kind of take a little more of a relaxed view and just be comfortable with not knowing, which, it maybe sounds a little strange, but we really don't know. And if you become comfortable with not knowing and letting the world unfold the way it's going to unfold and do what's right for you, there's a lot less stress in your life and the people around you.
Got it. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. Now, and during this past year and a half in particular, talk about unruly and unrest, right? I feel like we're finally getting back to where we were, but still, I think a lot of us are so stressed, and we use that term even more so, stressed. What does it really mean to be stressed? And what can people do to relax? I mean, do you hold a stress ball? What can help us relieve stress? What are some techniques or ideas that you have that you maybe would work with your clients?
Okay, so I'm just chuckling about the whole stress ball. I forgot all about those. Because
remember that was back then.
And so it's funny because I haven't given thought to those for a long time. But it's really when I think about it, the way I see it, it's like reinforcing the reason that I'm stressed. It's like I'm squeezing this thing to reinforce that I'm stressed. But if we focus within ourselves and through meditation and really getting to be familiar with ourselves, we can reduce a lot of the stress and the way that we see the world that's causing us all this unrest. And so really the question to ask is, where do you focus your attention most of the day? Are you focusing your attention on everything that you see as wrong? Or are you focusing within to see how checking in with yourself often to see how you're feeling? Are you breathing properly? Not to say that you ignore what's going on in the world, but where do you put most of your attention? Because the product of your life is going to be based on where you put your attention.
Yeah.
When you first fall in love, you have all this attention on this new person, and you can't help radiate that to the world. And other people see that in us. They see when we're in a really high elevated mood, and they may even comment like, wow, what just happened to you? Because that's where we're focusing our attention. But if your focus of attention is on everything that you judge as wrong, then that's going to radiate out into the world as well.
Yeah.
And then, that causes internal stress. It causes stress for the people that are around you. And so, it's a matter of, investigating our triggers, becoming aware of our emotions, and that's not giving it that much of our attention.
Yeah.
We have a choice of where to put our attention.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. And, as far as people talk about what defines them, and everyone wants to be successful in their own right, Michael? We all want to be successful.
Sure. Yeah.
Can we talk about that? And it's different for everyone, but does that also affect us with pressures of stress of success? What would you like to say about that? I never heard it. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Stress of success, but it can be, yes.
Yes, there can be stress of success. I mean, some people even fear being successful. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But success is really acting on what you're passionate about. It's doing what really turns you on without having any linkage to a particular outcome. Now, I've read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of books on success, and it's like, how do you do it? And what I noticed, there's like common threads within all these books. And the common thread is that they're like reverse engineering what all these people did who we see as successful. But the common thread in all of them is they were living their passion. They were doing what they were really just compelled to do. And they didn't, I would venture to say that most of them didn't say, well, I'm going to be a, billionaire. They were, I'm sure there was, there's a component of that. You have to have goals and everything like that, but you're looking at this, you're just so compelled to do something, you just can't not do it. And so success is, we talked about purpose, life purpose, last episode, and so on a large scale, our life purpose is just to enjoy our life. So what are you doing to enjoy your life? And if you're doing what you really enjoy, you're successful. And so we bring a lot of stress into ourselves because we put a certain outcome, we put a certain income attachment to that to say, I'm not going to be happy until I hit this point. And it's a problem because if you're doing something you really enjoy, should there be a monetary value on that or any other value for that matter? I mean, we really have to know what our values are and assess them and just live what we're passionate about.
I say it's the climb, right? It's like the Miley Cyrus song, because we always want. And then we get there and it's like, we're here now, but now what? Like, is there more to it? It's like, we want more. So in turn, it's like, it's not even about getting there. It's about getting to that point. It's the climb of it all. And then when you get there, now you have another climb. Get it? It's a country song. If you Google it.
Oh, yes. And I love country music.
By Miley Cyrus, called It's the Climb.
So
yeah, go ahead.
No, you brought up a really good point. I just wanted to touch on that before we move on to anything else. But That's an excellent point you made, because we are conditioned to think about the future. So we think about, what am I going to do 6 months from now? Here's my goal, and I'm so focused on 6 months from now that when that moment gets here, I'm looking over the shoulder of the thing that I just really wanted, and I'm not enjoying it because I'm thinking, I'm so conditioned to think about, what am I doing 6 months from now, or whatever your timetable. We have, all these little timetables, and it's like, we have all these little goals. What about right now? I mean, like Eckhart Tolle says, how do you feel right now? Do you have problems right now? And mostly the answer is no, because right in this particular moment, everything's okay. We're not okay because we're sitting there looking over the shoulder of the thing that we really wanted. We're not enjoying it. It's like putting your attention on the meal you're going to plan for next week. And then when next week gets here, you're still looking at a week from now, and you're not enjoying the meal that's sitting right in front of you. And so I thank you for bringing that up. That's an excellent point, because that's part of this whole deal, is where we put in our focus. I mean, are we, and it takes practice to just say, you know what, I'm okay right now. And I know that I'm evolving, and we can't help but evolve. And I think that's what we need to become aware of, is that we are constantly changing. And so we don't really need to put that much attention on the future, because the future is going to unfold. Every day we're becoming different, we're becoming more, we're moving in a direction. And we're either healing, or we're learning more, or we're meeting new people. Life is getting richer by the day. We just need to stop and smell the roses.
Absolutely. That's a good way to look at it. Be present, right? Can we say being more present?
Yes.
Stopping and smelling
yes.
the roses is something we just totally take for granted.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about emotions and about the role maybe that they play in our lives on a daily basis? Like all the time?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, that is true. That's, just for an example, I mean, before we start every one of these shows, I feel a certain level of emotion. And so the way I look at that is, I just say, oh, that's an old energy pattern. And I feel a little, I feel a little anxiety, I feel a little fear or whatever. And I just observe it, because I know that as soon as we get started, it's going to melt away. And so every time that kind of situation happens, and I don't suspect it'll ever go away, and I don't know that I want it to go away. It's not a bad thing. Our emotions are, they're kind of like a GPS. They're telling us where we're going or where we're at. Is everything okay where I'm at? Did I just make a decision and now all of a sudden I feel it in my body and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And so it gives us, it's like a feedback mechanism. And so, to say that we want to completely eliminate fear and anxiety and anger and all this stuff that we judge as bad, but it's bad to the extreme. But our emotions serve us to guide us. We start getting into a situation, and how connected are you to your heart and your emotions? And they are telling us, they're giving us a little feedback on what's going on. I remember the story of a woman who was about to get married, and the day before the wedding, she had terrible neck pain. She could hardly move her head. She was racked in pain. And so something was telling her that, put the brakes on, honey.
All signs pointing to, you look for the signs. Yeah.
And it didn't last very long. And so, her body was being very truthful with her. And it was telling her, hey, you're about to do something that you're probably not going to like. And so if we plug into those emotions and we go, okay, so what is this about? And it may be nothing, but is it? But is it?
Don't they say trust your gut?
Yes.
But doesn't that mean something? I mean, you would know more chemically, like what happens with this. Sometimes you feel it and you might ignore it, or you should trust your gut.
Well, yeah, they talk about the energy centers, the chakras.
Yes, the chakras and all.
Yeah, and each energy center has a certain function. And, when you're in the lower 3, it's all about survival. And that's why when we feel stressed, we feel pressure, mostly like anxieties in your gut. That's like, that's like the second energy center. And so we feel that energy knotted up in that second energy center. And we feel it in our gut, or somebody says something or something happens and it hits us in the gut, or it hits us in the heart, or it hits us in the throat. I mean, people that, all of a sudden they lose the ability to speak or whatever. So, the emotions kind of run up and down the body. There's all these places where energy can, where we can feel it, and it does have meaning. And to learn to connect with that and become familiar with what's going on. Okay, wow, I just felt this. I felt the sensation in my gut. What's it about? What was I just thinking about? Because sometimes we're very good. I know I've been very good at repression. I remember thinking a thought, and then the thought was gone. I couldn't recall what it was I was just thinking about, but I felt the tension in my gut and the anxiety was just sitting there. And then for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what I was just thinking about.
Yeah. Wow. See, it happens sometimes.
It does.
It does. And what are some of the types of things we could do to try to rely on, when it comes to emotions, like if you're feeling something in your gut, why do we tend to try to pull away from it and pull away from our emotions if we feel it internally? Why are we so scared to trust our own judgment in ourselves?
Well, because we don't know. It's uncomfortable, and we want to exit that shitty feeling, for want of better words. It's just we don't want to experience it. And for a really good example of how emotions, how powerful emotions are, I suffered with severe back pain for 10 years, probably from when I was about 26 to 36. There were times when I couldn't even hold up my own body weight. And so I had the MRIs that showed the herniated discs and all that. And I thought, I know what's wrong with me. And I was, and so that certainly had an emotional toll. But at the end of the day, I was handed a book, which I remember to this day, and I'll never forget it, which a doctor in New York, he discovered this like 40 some years ago. And he started putting the pieces together that these people were having back pain because they had repressed emotions. And so the physiological thing that happens in the body, and your mind's doing this to us, by the way, the physiological thing that's happening is that the mind is causing the blood vessels in your back to constrict. And when you have low oxygen in your muscles, they cramp up. And so the pain is real. It's excruciating, as anybody who's ever had sciatic, pain or back pain can tell you. But the real cause is from repressed emotions. And so when you talk about we feel something, why shouldn't we just address it? Because a lot of times in this case with the back pain, your mind is giving you a physical pain to take your mind off of the emotional pain, because our mind feels that it's easier and better to have a physical pain than it is to deal with the emotions. And a lot of it is our upbringing. We're taught to run away from our emotions. It's like, big boys don't cry, and little girls shouldn't do this and that. And, we've got all these ideas that are roadblocks to acknowledging that we have emotions. And I know the tide is turning, especially, well, for boys and girls, but I know, the only thing that speaks to me is, the little boys, because it was always, big boys don't cry. And so you're taught to bottle up emotions. And so what else are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
They're trapped. You have no way of venting them properly because you were taught to repress, and we're all taught to repress. So, this is part of what we're doing to transcend that. It's almost like this is the human condition that we have to overcome. And this is part of our life here as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for bringing that up. And take your sip of water. Shall I do the same? Take a quick little break. Here we go. Mine as well. do you want to talk a little about yoga? I know that's one of the things that you suggest to really help people, right? And as far as self-improvement and self-care is big to you, some of those things on your agenda?
Yeah, yoga. I've met a lot of people who have had a spiritual awakening, and I find out that they have been doing yoga for years. And so part of what's important about yoga is it is a form of meditation. And so when some people say they have no time to meditate, but they're going to yoga class, they're meditating. If you notice, for those of you out there that do yoga, if the next time you go to a class, notice how when you're holding one of those poses for an extended period of time, that you don't have any time to think about anything but holding that pose. And so this goes back to meditation, where you focus on your breath or some innocuous noise, so that you're not giving your attention to your mind, which is spinning constantly. So yoga is a form of meditation. So yeah, I mean, it's a good practice. So if you don't feel that you want to sit and meditate, if yoga speaks to you, it's a great, it's also a great way of developing yourself. It is a form of meditation. So
perfect. Interesting. But what do people say? I don't have time. I don't know how to do yoga. We don't know, for a beginner out there who's a little apprehensive or nervous about that, what would you say to someone like them?
Well, when you go to a yoga class, nobody's going to judge you because they've all started from the same place.
Good point. Good point.
They're happy to help. Do what you can do as much as you can do it, and know that it's like anything that you start doing new. You weren't born like knowing how to dance or doing yoga, or these are things you have to practice, and there's various levels, and how connected are you with your body, what's your level of balance. And so just try it, give it a try, but also notice that while you're doing that you have really no time to think about all the BS that's going on in our lives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so true. And there's so much of that today. So looking down at our notes, a lot of that, we try our best on a daily basis to kind of go with the flow, right? That's one of the things you wanted to talk about, because what does it really mean to go with the flow?
Okay. Going with the flow is really becoming present with every moment and allowing life to unfold the way it's going to unfold. It is removing judgment from your life, really. I mean, we have so many judgments, beliefs, and opinions about so many different things. And so going with the flow is just relaxing and allowing things to happen. And the more I do this, the more I'm just so amazed with like the episode we did about like online dating, and it's like the more I relax about the whole situation, it amazes me how people have trouble meeting anybody, because I sometimes I meet somebody and I'm like, wow, she's really cool, but you know what, I've got too many phone numbers right now and I can't and so but things are unfolding. It's like you're just allowing things to happen, and when you connect with yourself and you become very comfortable with allowing life to unfold, you find that it unfolds in a very nice way.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of faith. It's learning to trust that. It takes practice, like anything.
Absolutely, it does. And determination, willpower. And what about, unfortunately, at times we all experience pain. It's normal to experience pain, right? So
Sure.
Is there a reason why? Do we all have to experience pain? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to emotions. I mean, if you could imagine, I got a good example. So a friend of mine was telling me that she didn't want to have any more relationships because she doesn't want another broken heart. The problem with that is the avoidance of a broken heart is a broken heart. And so where was I going with this?
I don't know.
We feel pain is, another indicator, but if you didn't want to feel the pain of a broken heart, just imagine that somebody that you cared very deeply for has just passed away or very ill. Imagine that you didn't have any emotions about that. You felt no pain at their passing. Or would you want to live like that? I mean, pain is an expression of love, really. I mean, when you love so deeply that when someone leaves, it hurts. I mean, we've all lost people close to us, and it's painful. But to say I don't want to feel pain is it's like the two sides of the coin. You can't feel that love unless you felt the pain of the loss as well. And so it's part of the whole package.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole package we came with. And so, it's necessary. I mean, it's necessary, and it should not be avoided.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Feel the loss,
Yes. No, absolutely. Well,
Feel the
also,
love.
we are almost out of time. 2 minutes left on the clock. What else do you want to add to the conversation, Michael?
Well, I've got a few quotes here I can share.
Sure.
When the friction of unwanted events happen, let go of needing things to be different. Allow things to unfold unimpeded, knowing the wisdom in the unfolding of events. And that is Ram Dass. Another one too. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole universe belongs to you. And that's from the Tao Te Ching, which is a pretty interesting read for those of you that have a little bit of time. It's pretty short, actually.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Michael. And how can we reach out to you for more information?
Okay, you can reach me at enjoytheridetexas.com. You can email me at michael@enjoytheridetexas.com. You can find my phone number on the website. You can shoot me a text. We can set up a time for a free phone consultation and find out if we can work together.
Great. Well, thank you so much. In the meantime, I hope you have a great, happy, healthy week. Where are you located again exactly?
Addison, Texas. It's just north of Dallas.
So your temperatures are what? Are they in the 70s, 80s? Is it beautiful there?
Oh, it's chilly today, actually.
It is.
Yeah, it's what do we got here? 55.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
We're like in the 50s, 40s as well. So I thought you guys would have a better day than me, but maybe not. All right.
That's only
Good
today.
to know. All right. Just today. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy everything, Michael Pijanowski. Pleasure having you. Have a great day. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.